Hello everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Tuesday. It's June and half the year is over with. Can you believe it? It's crazy. Welcome Anne from Ohio. I appreciate you joining me today. Gloria from Oklahoma. Yeehaw. And Becky from South Carolina. Thank you. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. I know that you are extremely busy, and I appreciate you joining me. And then Amy is from Oakdale, California. Welcome, everybody. Carrie from West Jordan. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from me today. I'm excited to talk to you today. Last week we talked about leveling our frames and the 15 Pro and the 15R machines and what great machines those are to upgrade from a domestic machine. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about our Quilting 19 machine and show you some of the features, some of the awesome things that it does besides having that 19-inch throat, which is awesome. And then some really important things because you joined me today. I have some special messages and alerts for you, and so that you get to know before everybody else. So I'm just going to jump in and show you our Quilting 19. And if you have any questions, hold off. I hope we were able to help you level your frames so that you can go home and quilt easily. So hello from Sweden, Jill. Thank you. You're so dedicated. Thank you for joining us. And Vicky says hello. I don't know where she's from, but welcome. So anyway, let's jump in and let me show you the great features of the Quilting 19. The functions are basically the same. It allows you, like the Quilting 15 Pro, it stitches 2,000 stitches per minute. So it's a faster machine. It's not as fast as our 21 Pro because that's 2,600. So it's really hard to outrun that, but it's really hard to almost outrun a 2,000 stitch per inch machine. So that is a really great feature, so you'll be able to keep your stitches nice and consistent. Besides how fast it is, one feature that I really like with the 19 that the 15 doesn't have is these handles. They're extendable handles, and what's nice about them is if you're height challenged and you're not so tall, these allow you to extend the handles out so that you can use them, and they are able to be positioned to whatever position you like to quilt. I kind of like mine in at an angle, but sometimes that can be hard to see your design as you're quilting along, so you can just adjust it. But that makes it, this extending of the handles makes it extremely nice for you to be able to quilt, because if you are shorter and you have a harder time reaching the back of the quilt, this will allow you to easily do it without really moving. Now you want to make sure that you adjust your frame to the correct height, and in the instructions when we send them out, it's giving you some positions or some height positions to set it at, depending on how tall you are. So just know that those are in the instructions. To read them before you set things up. It's really important when you get a new product to read the instructions first. It will really help you understand how it's supposed to go together and how to set it up on the frame. We talked a little bit about the positioning of the tracks when you get the machines and everything. Well, that's another important thing that you need to adjust as well. So these extended handles are awesome. The other thing that I really like about the Quilting 19 is this touchscreen. I love a touchscreen. Who doesn't? With our computers and everything, it's just so nice to be. I have a really hard time, and I don't know about you all, is using that little bar down here with the two fingers to scroll. So I like being able to touch my screen and move through the pages. It's just so much easier for me. The kids nowadays, have grown up with computers, and so it's just really nice to be able to touch the screen and tell it to do what you want it to do, rather than trying to learn the new movement of scrolling with one or two fingers or on the left or the right side. So this one is so much easier. So let me just go through the screen functions. It's a lot like the 15 Pro. So you get the screen and you are able to have your settings right here. This little icon up here, it takes you into settings. And you can see with the settings, you have your inches and your centimeters, so you can choose whichever one you want. You have your full stitch or your half stitch. Now, again, the half stitch is where the needle, you push the button and the needle goes down, and then you push it again for it to come back up. A full stitch is where it goes down and comes back up. So you can set it to whatever one you like, which is really nice, or you can set it for right or left-handed, depending on how you like it. It really throws me off when people change it from right to left-handed because I'm so right-handed that I just have to stop myself and think, okay, the buttons aren't the same, so what am I going to do? So just make sure that you like it that way. I know you lefties are very ambidextrous. Thank you for that, because us righties, we're not so much so. So anyway, and then right down you have this I for information, so that will take you to the manual, and the manual is hooked up to the screen, so you can go into that. And then you have screen settings, so you can adjust the colors. If you don't like this color, you can go in and pick a different color. So you could pick green, if I could push on it. There we are, pink, or the blue. Let's see, there's the green. So you just keep scrolling through till you find what you like. And then you just get out of there. And then you can set your, and then we're just back into this. So let me go back into the settings and finish showing you. And then we have our light. And the reason my light is off is because it's easier so you don't get reflections on the fabric and stuff. So I'm just keeping mine off, but I'm just going to turn it on for you so you can see. So there's the light on or off, and that gives you that extra little help with seeing what you need to see as you're quilting. Huh? Light one more time. Okay. See, just push that button and the light will come on, and then it'll stay on if I select it, or because we're filming, I'm just going to turn it off. But those are your settings on your screen. So I'm going to go back home to the home page. Just as easy as that, and you can see that every machine will should come with it being set to regulated precise. And regulated precise mode, as you're quilting, the machine is moving and the needle is going up and down, but if you stop for just a minute, the needle stops sewing. So it's great. It's a great mode to start out in, but people get a little confused because if you're not familiar, well, and if you're just upgrading to a longer machine, most machines do this in regulated precise. So your domestic machines, they don't do that. They will continue to go up and down. They don't have this mode for quilting, which is really nice. When you move to a long arm, you have all these different ways of quilting. Okay, so, and I'll show you each of these and showing you different designs, okay? So this is regulated precise. Then we have our cruise, our regulated cruise. And with cruise, it gives you a needle speed, a needle speedometer, okay? So you can slow down your needle or you can speed it up to go up and down as much as you want. But in this mode, it does not stop stitching if you stop. So it's easy for you to get a little nest of thread underneath your quilt. So you don't want to leave it in one position too long because that needle is consistently going up and down. And then we have our base mode, and I hope you all know that base mode is great, but I never use it. I just lower the stitches per inch on my machine and I just move across it really fast. So it's there if you like it, and I know a lot of quilters just love the base mode. But with the base mode, you have 3 sizes. You've got your short, your medium, and your long stitch. And then we have our manual mode. which is a mode that if you haven't tried it, you don't know it. You know if you like that mode until you try it. So you need to just jump in and experiment before you start quilting. And it won't take you very long to figure out if you like that mode or not. So they're available for you, and it's like the settings in your car. I mean, you don't know what the buttons are going to do all the time, so until you try them and you see, oh wow, I really like that feature, you're not going to know. So try them out and play. And playing a lot of fun. So anyway, those are the features. Then there's another one where you can have the needle stop in the down position or the up position. That's this one here. And this one just tells you if the needle is up or down. And then right here in the center right here is the overspeed. And the overspeed lets you know that you're moving the machine faster than it can actually sew. So it's going to beep at you. And with 2,000 stitches per inch, it's really hard to break that sound barrier, but you can do it. And so if you're first starting out, I say leave the overspeed on so that you get familiar with your designs and the way the machine works, and then you can turn it off. It just kind of helps you understand that you are going past the speed limit, slow it down. We're not the quilting police here, so you can go as fast as you want, but just know that you can overrun the machine, and your stitches will start looking a little elongated if you outrun it. So just get familiar with it, and then turn it off. It's not a bad thing to have on at first, but you don't want it beeping at you all the time. Once you become familiar with it, turn it off. And just say, I don't need that anymore. It's one of those features. But if you're starting to learn a new design, it's nice to be able to have that turned on for the first little bit, because it does help you as you're rounding your corners and doing all these necessary moves that are different, and helps you know, it helps you get into the rhythm. And that's what it does, because you're listening and trying to affix your movements to the speed to help you get into that groove of quilting. So anyway, I have it, and we're going to try all these 3 modes, but I'm going to jump in and I'm just going to show you how easy it is to thread. So this is a little different than our 15. It's like our 21 how it threads. So it's got the threads down here on the side. And then you're going to come through the back of this first dual thread stand, and you're going to thread it through. Then you're going to, these are all aligned specifically to pull the thread so your tension is correct. So if you're threading it correctly all the way down, it helps to keep your tension nice and looking really good. There are other factors to tension, and we'll talk about that as well. But anyway, so this is aligned so that it comes down through this, and then you come through these discs right here. And it's really important that it's not sitting off the side, because it needs that extra little tension that these discs provide as you're threading. So then it will come down, and this little hole is lined to come back and line up so that as you pull it between your tension knob, and make sure it's not sitting on the tension knob, take the thread and pull it to the center of the tension knob to make sure it's in there. If it's just sitting on the back, just like this, it's going to cause your tension to be off, and it's going to act like it's going to be really loose. So make sure that you just, undid it. I'm going to make sure it's wrapped around, and I'm just going to pull it towards me, and you'll feel the tension as you pull it towards you. All right, next we're going to bring it up and around our little tension spring, okay? So it's going to pull down, and this is what helps give you the tension. And then you're going to bring it up through this little, little guide that goes up and down. And then you're going to bring it through here and wrap it around. But then there's a couple important places. This is a little needle thread guide. It's right here at the top. And most long arms, even the domestic machines, have this. They have a little guide that helps align the thread so that it goes down the needle correctly. So it's really important to put your thread through that guide. And I'm not threading it yet. I'm just talking about threading the machine because I want to show you a technique that I think is awesome to do before you actually thread it and start quilting. And then that helps to align the thread so it's straight down. And then you put it through your eye of your needle. Now, threads and needle sizes, it's really important to take a look at. Different threads call for different needle sizes, and they just help with the breakage of the thread. So if you have a thread that's a little finer, like a cotton thread, they really like a size 16 needle. Now our thread, because it is a polyester thread, it's awesome. If you haven't tried it, I suggest that you try it out. It is great. It's very durable. It comes in beautiful colors. It calls for a size 18. If you like to use glide thread, that also likes a size 18 needle as well. So just know that when you purchase threads, they will suggest a needle size for you. And that is if you're using a domestic machine as well. They will suggest a domestic size needle as well as a long arm needle for your quilting. So check out the guide and make sure that you know what size needle you want to use with that certain thread, and that will help with some frustrations as you're quilting because it does make a huge difference. If you've ever used a needle with a thread that doesn't call for that size, it can really break very easily. It's frustrating, and nobody likes to have thread breaking on them. So for 2 inches and they have it break again, it is really frustrating. And so there could be a few other factors just besides the needle size, but that is a big one. So anyway, what I wanted to show you today was how fun it is to use these different modes. And I'm going to show you without it being threaded. So when you get your machines, you don't have to jump in and thread them right away, and you can play with them without it being threaded. You can see how the different modes work, and that's what I really want to suggest. And if you're learning a new design, one way to learn it is like I have. I've drawn it on here, and you shouldn't use a pencil, but I did, so that you could see my drawings and everything. But I'm going to just turn the machine on, try the different modes, and show you how much fun it is just to see what the buttons do and how to go through them and see how the different modes work. So I'm in manual mode right now. I'm going to change it to regulated precise. I'm just going to hit it one more time, and I'm at 12 stitches per inch, okay? So the stitches per inch have a lot to do with the way your design looks and sews. So if you have a design that's more circular in shape, you will want to raise your SPIs, that's your stitches per inch, to a higher, because you want more stitches in that to make it look more round, okay? And so if it's at a lower, and we'll thread it and we'll show you, because here's my chance to show you some of the mistakes I've made and some of the things I've learned. So I'm just going to show you what the regulated precise is, and then we'll go through each of the modes, and then I'm going to thread it, and then we're going to change the SPIs so that you guys can see the way they each sew, and we'll just experiment and play. That's what we're here to do today. And I've got my handles raised. I would probably turn them down or out, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So anyway, the machine's on, and I've come over here and I have kind of drawn a circular, started a spiral, but then I came back and I echoed it. So it's a spiral with a little echo on it. And this is a really fun design to try and learn, and it's very easy. So when I'm echoing, I see I have a little opening right here, or a little V shape. Then I'll start another one and keep going. So anyway, I'm just going to come down here to my starting point. I'm acting like I'm threaded, but I'm not. And I'm just going to turn it on. and show you. So regulated precise, and I'm just going to come around and then come back up, and then I'm going to make it so I hit, and then I'm going to come back and echo, and then I'm just going to do another one. And you can do it as big as you want, as small as you want, and just keep going. And just till you get an idea, oh, okay. So regulated precise, it's going to stop if I stop. And you just keep going. Okay. So that was 12 SPIs. Now let's try regulated cruise and see if I like that mode a little better. All right, so I'm just going to change it to regulated cruise. I'm going to keep it, my needle speed at 5%. So I'm going to turn it on and show you. And because it's not threaded, I can allow my needle or my machine to be positioned in one place, okay? See how slow it's going to move up and down? So I can raise it up and make it go faster. But it's not going to stop sewing. It'll be a little easier for you to see once I thread it. But if this was threaded, I wouldn't want to leave it in one place too long. All right. Now we're going to try to get a feel for manual mode. Manual mode is a mode I really love. But because this is a little faster machine, I want to slow it down first. Start at a slower speed and then speed it up. And you can speed it up by using your buttons on your machine. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to slow it down, way down, because I'm not quite sure how my movements are going to relate. Because remember, this is it doesn't have stitch regulation. Manual mode takes you out of stitch regulation. So I'm going to start at this 25%. And then I'm just kind of move it slow back and forth. But I may want to, I got my little groove on, I may want to turn it up. And you can keep turning it up if you think that you've got it and move faster. But in manual mode, it's really easy to, if you get it moving too fast, it's easy to stack stitches on top of each other. And it's not fun to unpick, I'll tell you that. So be careful. So that's what I just start out slow and then move it up. It's like learning to drive a car. You're not going to start out at the fastest speed because you don't have as much control. So start out with a slower speed so you know that you have the control, and then increase the speed in increments, and then you're good to go. Because then you will feel like you're in more control of your machine. It's really easy because these are so smooth to have the little wobbles and wiggles in it. And you think, oh my gosh, this is too smooth. I can't handle it. So if it's too smooth, what you need to do is lower your take-up bar. This is the take-up bar. It takes up all your little layers of your fabric. Lower it so it's laying on top of your machine, and that will give you that extra little friction or tension that you want and need. And trust me, it can get a little hard to move, but it'll give you that control that you feel like you need. You don't need to use a bag of anything. Just lower that, and it'll give you that extra little tension. So that's something that you might want to try. I've used it when I have been doing some ruler work, or and because I haven't had as much control on some designs, I felt like I needed it. I lowered my take-up pole, and it was allowed me to make those movements that I felt like I need, and not so wobbly. So it was a nice, smoother transition from one design to another. So anyway, let's thread it now. I got to make sure, see, it's wrapped around my needle. That's one of the hazards of wrapped around my spring. So I got it undone. So I'm going to just pull it down, pull it up. I'm going to cut my threads. See, no glasses, everybody, yet. Going to bring it up through here. through my little lever, and I just pull it out, and I'm going to wrap it around there, and I'm going to make sure that I get it in my upper thread guide right here in my needle guide. Pull it through. Need a little bit more slack. And then we're just going to play and see. One thing when you are drawing your designs, it's easy to get distracted and lose where you're at. Just go with the flow. And now I'm just going to pull my thread up. So you always want to tie off your stitches. So I'm going to go where I'm starting my design. Okay? And if your needle doesn't go all the way down, it's because it's trying to find the rotation of it. It has a little, I don't know what it's called, the technical term of it. It's got this little window settings inside of it that have you go through the adjustments of your needle up and down. Sometimes it will do a double stitch. That's where it's trying to find its rotation. So I'm back here and I just want to do a little tie-off stitch. So I'm just going to use my little single stitch, and that's why I like the half stitch rather than the full stitch. So I'm just going to barely move it, and then I'm just going to move it back and forth just to do a little tie-off. And then I'm just going to turn it on, and we're ready to start quilting. So we are in, manual. We want to start in regulated precise, and I'm at 12, okay? So I'm just going to go up and around. I'm just going to do a little echo. So right here, I'm going to have a little spot. So you see in the little V shapes, I'm just doing a little loop and then going back and forth over the loop. This is a really fun design to try. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to lower my SPI so you can see. So I'm going to go back down to 9 and show you what they look like at 9. And it's going to sew a little slower. But see how my stitches are larger? So find what SPI you like. And so now I'm just going to echo. And because it's moving a little slower, it's a little harder to deal with. So just so you can see the differences. Okay, so I went down to 9 so that you can see the stitch length is very varied. Now let's go up to, let's do 14, okay, show you that. And when you get here, you're just going to find another little spot. All right, so there's 14 stitches per inch. Okay, so I'm not going to do that with every one of the settings because they look pretty much the same, but now I'm going to go into cruise and show you how that looks. And I'm going to slow it down because remember, this gives me extra little stitches, so I don't probably want the SPI to be up quite as much. So we're going to go back down to 12, and then we're going to see what cruise looks like with this design. You can tell I can echo as many times as I need to get back to a spot so I can resume, but I try to find an opening. And then when I get to the sides, they get a little smaller, so that's when you want to do more echoes. And then it helps me get back around so I have more that I can quilt with. But see what I mean when I say that they basically sew the same, they look the same? Anyway, okay, so that is regulated cruise. We're going to skip based, and we're just going to come quickly into manual. And I'm going to end up in manual, and I'm going to start out slow, like I said. So we're going to start out at 30, and then I'm going to come around. All right, so I finished up that little block. So now I'm going to show you what loops look like. And I'm just going to come down and start down here and just kind of show you what loops look like. And with the loops and manual, it can start out and then you can just get faster. So you just need to make sure that your movements, just try manual. It's a little smoother mode. I really like it. Even if I'm going slower, I don't mind. I feel like I have a little bit more control. But you know what? It's all preference. What I like is something that you may not like, and that's why I want you to get your machines and experiment. And see, okay, I got down there, so now I'm going to try even. We're going to go back to regulated precise. I'm just going to do up and downs. But I think I'll do cruise with this because I want a more rounded corner. I don't want it to come to a point. So I'm just going to use cruise, and I'm just going to go back and forth. I like this design because you don't have to be really accurate. You can allow for mistakes because it's kind of wonky. So this is a really fun one to practice and get really good at. But I'm really liking, and I'm using my foot to keep my foot right along there as close as I can to kind of be my guide as I'm moving up. And then I don't want to make it a point. I want to make it a rounded corner, but I'm trying to use my foot as my guide. And I don't want to go too fast. You just kind of want to have fun. There we go. Now there's a wonky one. I probably should have come up a little bit more with this point, this one right here, but I didn't, so oh well. So I'm just going to move across and then show you a couple more. But what I could do is do a little echo and then come up here. And then I'm going to come down here to start a new design. Okay, so this one's a back forth design. So it's just repeating the same half moon shape all the way up. And then to get a different dimension or a different look to your quilt, you can come back the other way. And it's just kind of a fun, easy design to practice on and learn. So anyway, that's what I'm just going to go back and forth. And it doesn't have to be exactly straight. Embrace the unevenness for right now till you get. If you want more control, then that's where the rulers come in, okay? And they'll give you that exact measurement. So this one I'm going to go down and come back this direction. There are so many different designs. I want you to doodle all the time. Okay. So anyway, and then we're just going to go into our back and forth. So this one's a back and forth, up and down. And I want to make sure that I'm coming up and down this way. But see how fun this one is? It's just an up and down, and it doesn't have to be exactly straight. I just drawing it on helps you. It's kind of your guide. And I'm going to come up and down on this one. So now I can do both of them. I'm going to go this way on this one. Sorry, I messed that one up. Anyway, it gives you an idea of how much fun quilting is, and you know I could do this all day. Okay, I know you're bored watching me quilt because you want to get home, get into your quilting room and start quilting. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know some great news. The Unique 19 is on sale. We have some fabulous pricing on it. So if you've kind of put off purchasing, now's the time to do it because, and you guys are the first to know, we are going to have a price increase due to everything that's going on and steel and everything is going up in price. We are going to have a major price increase. So if you've been putting off buying your accessories, whatever, it's going to be across the board. Now's the time to buy. Now's the time to purchase. You know, with the automation and everything. So don't put it off any longer. Call us, call your dealer, you know, and talk to them and see what kind of pricing, what kind of deals, see if they have financing available. I really want you to be able to work with the tools that help you become the best quilter you can be. And I want you to be able to quilt the way you want to quilt, not like Carla, but how you want to quilt. Because I know there are fabulous quilters out there, and I know that we're just reaching the tipping point and pulling out more and more creative ideas from each of you. So check out the pricing, call your local dealer. I can't say enough about our dealers. They are wonderful. So make sure that you contact a dealer in your area and ask them about the pricing and see what help they can give you. You can call us at our 800 number. It's 800-264-0644. And one of our great account executives will help, and help you find that dealer near you. But make sure that you don't put off purchasing any longer because, like I said, it's going up and very soon. So I can't tell you enough how grateful I am that you have chosen to spend your little time with me. And next week, we're going to start jumping into some automation, which I'm really excited about. So join me next week, and we're going to start quilting with the automation. We're going to go through a series, just like I have with the machines, with the automation on the different frames and how it works and what you should do and some of the fabulous functions and features in the automation. I've had a chance to show you some of them, but now there's so much more to it. So I will see you next week. And again, thank you for spending time with me. And please have a good, blessed week.